Next on the agenda, we have a personnel committee action item. And we turn it over to Governor Williams-Ruth.
Thank you, President Andrevel. Back in September, maybe it was October, during the listening tour, it was discovered through just conversation that the existing policies relating to the executive director succession plan was kind of missing something. And for those who were present when Executive Director Nevitt was confirmed from interim to permanent or to to full-time hire contracted executive director, there was a lot that was focusing on the front end but didn't really talk about the end. And in working with our amazing HR director, Glynis Kleinfelter-CO, we realized, hey, it's going to be a best practice for this organization to have a complete story from front to end on how executive directors are recruited. And then we have a great policy in place for the annual evaluation. And then we realized, hey, we need a policy about the end transition to a new executive director, which is why the Personnel Committee has been working on this, and we bring it to the board now with passage from the Personnel Committee to the board for consideration and adoption. I will defer to any questions or Director CO if we have any further explanation, but I always just like to let people ask what questions they may have. What? Yeah.
Yes. Governor Couch?
I would move to approve these recommendations.
A second.
Seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'm raising my hand.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Governor Fay.
One of the guardrails that's on this road that is maybe across the road is the requirement that the executive director only serve 10 years. That's a decision that was made by the Board of Governors some years ago. I believe it's time, or could be time, to reverse that decision. The executive director serves at the pleasure of the Board of Governors, and that should be the rule. Now, as far as the policy of how to go about recruiting an executive director, I'm all for that. But the root cause here is that the Board of Governors has created a problem for itself. And rather than put a Band-Aid on it, let's fix the problem. But the rest of the proposal is fine. I'm going to vote for it, but we ought to get to the root cause of the problem as well.
Thank you, Governor Fay. And to respond to that, one thing I tried to do in my presentation and in the policy and even in our personnel committee was this was not about Tara. And the 10-year provision is in the contract for Ms. Tara Nevitt. And to address anything about that would mean we would be reopening her contract discussion. And so what the personnel committee decided to do, and with the executive director Nevitt's agreement, was we did not want to make this about her or me or anyone else or prior people, but really just about the future for the plan. And so I would support that. We are not currently talking about the executive director's contract. We're just talking about the policy around it, because that'll be for a future board when it comes time to negotiate and talk about the future for Tara. Because maybe after 10 years, she's going to want a nice opportunity to escape. Look for new adventures. So
forgive me for making this more of a conversation. I think it's entirely possible that Ms. Nevitt will come to her senses some year and stop putting up with the likes of us. But a simple contracts can be amended and just take that clause out. And I don't see a need for it.
Next in the queue is Chief Disciplinary Counsel Doug Enday.
On page 464 of the material, the second page of the draft policy, the anti-penultimate bullet point, there are 2 question marks in parentheses. Does the board want to include 2 question marks in parentheses in the adopted policy? Also, in the final bullet point, the phrase or the term supermajority is used. I believe that should be closed up because it's one word, but I defer to grammarian Matthew Dresden on that point.
I will take the friendly amendment that those question marks can be removed, and I will look to Governor Dresden.
Yeah.
It is to be a supermajority one word, and that will be adjusted in so
To follow our
apologies.
proper process, I will propose because I don't think Council Indy can do this. I will propose an amendment to my motion to make the changes that were noted.
Okay. Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Governor Dresden.
Mike.
As long as we're editing. On the bottom, on the 1, 2, on the 5th bullet point, it says 9 months prior to end of contact. It should say contract.
I will accept that friendly amendment as well, and I believe procedurally, Governor Rathbone, since she seconded the first motion, has to second these 2 friendly amendments now.
Thank you for allowing me the time to second my own motion.
And I apologize as someone who is dyslexic. Reading and proofreading is something that is extremely difficult for me, and I apologize for letting that get through.
I would second the motion with the friendly amendment.
Right? Are we ready to take a roll call vote on the amendment?
Let's get it over.
Okay. Francis Adewale, Tom Ahern, Todd Bloom, Jordan Couch,
Aye.
Matthew Dresden, Kevin Fay,
Aye.
Christina Larry, Nam Nguyen, Kari Petrasic, Mary Rathbone, Allison Whitney, Brent Williams Ruth.
Aye.
Amendment passed to the motion.
Now to the motion. Oh, I'm sorry. We have, before we do that, we do have a question from past President Clark.
That's fine. I just was going to say, if you are going to amend the contract, I think there's a bylaw as well with that, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, Glennis.
Hi,
Hi.
thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you. To clarify, supermajority is one word?
Apparently.
Is that accurate? Okay.
Yes, that's the amendment.
Okay, I'm looking at the contract and supermajority is 2 words. Just wanted to point out there may be an inconsistency.
Well, motion already passed, so
Right.
that's what we're going with.
Right. 1 word. Thank you.
Okay. Are we now ready to take a roll call vote?
Okay, this is on the amended motion to approve the succession plan. Francis Adewale,
Aye.
Tom Ahern, Todd Bloom, Jordan Couch,
Aye.
Matthew Dresden, Kevin Fay,
Aye.
Christina Larry, Nam Nguyen,
Aye.
Kari Petrasic,
Aye.
Mary Rathbone,
Aye.
Allison Whitney.
Aye.
Brent Williams Ruth.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Yes, Governor Williams Ruth.
And just while I have everyone's attention, the evaluation process will be beginning again. So last year we had a great turnout, but there was a little delay in getting responses until we did a little bush beating and haranguing to get people done. So please, as you do receive, and we're anticipating it will be sometime end of June, beginning of July, that when you receive the email from Glynis and or I mean, again, it doesn't have to be for me, but if you see something that says Personnel Committee ED evaluation action, please click on it and do it, because again, part of the contract is that this process and her Director Nevitt's annual evaluation is to be completed and presented to the board by our final meeting of the year, which is scheduled for September. And so just know that we are going to be starting that up. And I appreciate everyone taking the time and energy to give thoughtful comments and feedback. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Governor Williams Ruth.